You don't forget things because you're careless. You forget them because your brain
A
decided they
few
weren't worth
moments
keeping.
later.
And that decision, it happens in milliseconds completely without your permission. Most people think forgetting is a flaw. But what if it's actually your brain doing exactly what it was built to do? What if the people who forget the most are also the ones thinking the deepest? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand your own mind in a way most people never will. My mom told me I'll never hit 1,000 subscribers in 2 weeks. If you've ever had someone doubt you, prove her wrong with me. Hit subscribe right now, let's show her together. Okay, back to your brain. In the next 8 minutes, I'm going to show you the real psychology behind why some people forget constantly, what's actually happening in their brain, why it happens more to certain personality types, and what it quietly says about how you process the world. And I'm saving the most surprising part for the end. You won't want to skip ahead. What forgetting actually is here, what nobody tells you about memory. Your brain isn't a hard drive, it doesn't store everything equally. It's more like a nightclub bouncer deciding what gets in, what gets filtered, and what gets thrown out before it ever makes it to long-term storage. Psychologists call this selective encoding. Your brain constantly scans incoming information and asks one question: does this matter? If the answer is no, gone, before you even realized you were supposed to remember it. And here where it gets interesting. The people who forget the most, they're not forgetting because their brain is weak. They're forgetting because their brain is busy. Busy processing emotions, busy running through scenarios, busy living 10 thoughts ahead of the current moment. And in a second, I'm going to show you the specific personality trait that makes this happen and why it's more powerful than it looks. The personality connection. Research in cognitive psychology consistently links high rates of everyday forgetting to one thing: a mind that defaults to abstract thinking over concrete detail. People who are naturally more creative, more introspective, more emotionally sensitive, their brains are literally wired to zoom out, to see the big picture, to live in concepts, feelings, and patterns rather than specific names, dates, or where they left their keys. Question 2, viewer. Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went there, but then had a brilliant idea you weren't even looking for? That's not a malfunction. That's your brain running on a different operating system. Psychologists actually have a name for this. It's called transactive memory drift, when your brain outsources the small stuff so it can focus cognitive energy on bigger processing. Your brain made a trade. It gave up "where did I put my phone" so it could hold on to something more complex. The question is that trade working for you or against you? There's one specific trigger that causes forgetting to spike, and it's probably happening to you right now without you knowing. I'll show you exactly what it is after this next part. The stress and emotion link. Here's the trigger I promised you. Emotional noise. When your emotional system is activated, even mildly, it competes directly with your working memory for cognitive resources. Think of working memory like RAM on a computer. When stress, anxiety, overstimulation, or even excitement is running in the background, it eats up that RAM, and whatever you were trying to remember gets dropped. This is why people going through difficult seasons of life forget more, why people with anxiety forget more, why people who are deeply passionate about something forget the boring details around it. It's not that the memory never formed. It's that your brain didn't have the bandwidth to hold it. So next time someone gives you a look because you forgot something obvious, just tell them your RAM was at capacity. Scientifically accurate, completely true. What it quietly says about you. Now here's the part most people don't talk about. People who forget easily often share a very specific psychological profile. They tend to be high in openness, one of the big 5 personality traits. They're curious, imaginative, and mentally restless. Their brain is always searching for the next idea, the next connection, the next pattern. They also tend to score high in empathy, because empathy requires your brain to constantly model other people's emotional states, which takes significant cognitive space. And here's the part that might surprise you. Studies have found that people who forget more trivial details often perform better on tasks that require creative problem solving and intuitive thinking. Because forgetting isn't just losing information. It's your brain cleaning house, clearing out the noise so the signal can get through. The people who remember everything, they can also get stuck in it, trapped by past details, overthinking every decision. The people who forget, they move lighter, they adapt faster. They're not dragging yesterday's weight into today, but there's one more thing, and this is the piece I haven't seen anyone else talk about. It reframes everything. The final reframe. There's a concept in neuroscience called motivated forgetting. Your brain doesn't just passively lose memories. Sometimes it chooses to let them go. Research shows that when we experience something painful, embarrassing, or emotionally threatening, our brain will actively suppress that memory to protect our psychological stability. It's not weakness, it's survival. But here's what this means for you. If you've spent your life feeling like something was wrong with you for forgetting things easily, your brain might have been protecting you the whole time. Filtering out what would slow you down, preserving space for what actually matters to you, quietly working in your favor even when it felt like it was working against you. You weren't broken. You were just running a more complex system than most people realize. If this video made you see yourself differently, even slightly, that's exactly why I make this channel. Every week I break down the psychology behind the way real people think, feel, and behave. The stuff that explains you in ways school never did. If you're not subscribed yet, do it right now, not later, right now. Because next week's video, it's going to hit harder than this one. And you don't want to be the person who forgets to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.